he's not going to be competitive anymore. He's going out there to get all the points he can. So,
and yet it seemed like he was doing things to hurt himself.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys on the show, on the race coverage. They showed him really gunning it coming out of the pits one time, like almost like he was trying to blow the motor. And even Kyle Petty said, no matter what anybody says, we all have done it. We've all had that day where you just wanted to end and you try to blow the motor by coming out of the pits. And
Kyle Petty actually said that?
Yeah, Kyle Petty said that. He said, I apologize to any engine builders I've had over the years, but we tried that.
So he insinuated that he thought Busch was kind of.
And then later, Busch just kind of seemed to hit the wall for no good reason and all that. I mean, that's the thing that more concerns me. Now, if he goes out there and runs hard and never stops trying no matter what happens, he will make the chase. I guarantee it. And I expect him to do that because if this is continuing, you're telling me that Joe Gibbs is not going to go in there and say, "Listen, boy, this is what you do," and you're going to say no to Joe Gibbs?
Yeah, I do think. Yes, I do think he'll make the chase, but I just don't.
What are we arguing about?
Well, I can't say that he's a I don't think you can say he's a shoe-in at all.
You know who I consider shoe-in? The people I expect to make the chase.
I guess.
I'm telling you right now, okay? Like, I don't consider Montoya and Kane shoe-ins because I think those are the guys that have the least amount of speed. They are up there because they have raced smart, conservatively the last few weeks. Montoya still doesn't have a top 5 this year. Well, but you telling me that Biffle, who has had excellent cars for whatever reason, did not have a good car on Saturday, is not going to have a good car when it comes down to it at a couple races? I mean, that team will regroup. That team will be strong, and they can. This is a team I can see overwhelming a team like Montoya's or Kane. Montoya and Kane are the little guys going up against the Giants. The Giants will more than likely prevail. Kyle Busch is a giant, and he's a giant in the sport right now, and he's the guy I'm backing.
Well, and there's 7 races to go, so if Kane and Montoya continue to be consistent, they'll make the chase.
Yeah. At the same time, though,
because Biffle, you can't. I'm sorry, you cannot run run perfect and then not show up to the racetrack for 3 weeks and run like Biffle did. And
if Biffle has fast cars the rest of the way and has no problems,
he
will consistently finish ahead of Montoya and Kane. He will, because Montoya will go and he'll finish 9th somewhere, and Biffle has the ability to finish 4th somewhere, and that's a good 30 points. 7 races to go, he can whittle that down and be past him, as long as he has no more problems. But he has the speed, and I don't know. Last time I checked, that's what racing's about: is who's fastest.
Well, but another big name that's close to missing the chase is Matt Kenseth, and usually he's like up top 5, running consistently every race, and he's almost out of the chase. What is he in?
He's in 12th. He's the guy with a 10-point lead on Biffle, and he concerns me because he doesn't have much speed. Even though he's won 2 races, he hasn't had any speed since then. That's the thing I look for. How are you running? Nobody's going to take down Hamlin because he's running too well. Even though he's technically, mathematically in that group that can go either way, he's not going to miss the chase.
Yeah. And I think that's why we've said before on this show that the first 4 are pretty much fine.
Oh, and Hamlin's even 5th. Hamlin and Edwards are still only like 120 or so above. But even then, I don't see it. I just don't see it. And that's all I'm saying. Yeah,
well, especially with, and Kyle, we talked about this at the racetrack this weekend, how it just feels like this is that kind of, and I think I talked to this at some point about this with both of you, how it's just like this year it just kind of seems like there's a couple of guys that are like really good and everybody else is just kind of like blah. Everybody else is kind of okay.
I know. That seems to happen every year.
That's what it's been like so far, but as we saw last year with Kyle Busch, once the chase starts, it all starts over. And even if you've dominated the whole season so far, I mean, Stewart has a huge lead right now. He could finish 12th in the chase. Unlikely, but...
Yeah, I mean...
Could, yeah.
And that's the thing. Actually, here's what I said to my dad after the race on Saturday. I said, after everything that happened when Mark Martin shouldn't have won that race at the end and he ended up prevailing, that is the first thing I've seen all year that feels like champion's luck. I've been saying it for weeks now that Stewart is running good and he's the guy, the point leader, but I haven't seen him have championship. Mark Martin has champions luck for whatever reason. He got passed by 3 cars and they all pretty much tried to wreck each other. When does that ever happen?
And the seas parted, and he pretty much just got the lead back.
Yeah, really. And speaking of which, God bless Denny Hamlin for livening up that race. It's all him.
I don't know though. Tony Stewart sure showed some good luck. I mean, he had some struggles there toward the end and ended up back and forth. I actually said to Kyle and Josh, I said, wait. after the race was over, I was like, wait, Tony Stewart finished 4th? Where did he come from?
Remember, Stewart also had new tires, and a lot of the guys up front didn't have fresh tires. That's the same with Gordon, too. Those were the first 2 guys that had fresh tires. That's part of the reason why they flew up through the pack.
It was just interesting to me. I didn't even notice it until the end.
Yeah, I was trying to point to my dad because on the green and white checkered, he was talking to my mom. I was like, Dad, Stewart's, you might be interested in this.
But yes.
I gotta ask you. You're a Johnson fan, aren't you? Mad at Hamlin today for costing him the win, or Kurt Busch?
Not really, because it lessened the blow with the 1-2 for Hendrick still. So I mean, it was kind of like I don't expect. I mean, I didn't care who won as long as
you're such a slut of a fan.
It's hard to root against Mark Martin.
Yeah, you should have heard. No, you should have heard. You should have heard.
Oh yeah. By the way, we've mentioned on this show that you hate Mark Martin, so I don't want to hear it.
But look at the alternatives that could have won.
And by that
Brian
he means
Vickers?
No, towards the end of the race.
Oh, Gordon?
Gordon Johnson was in the lead for a while. I've seen
Kane.
both of them win.
Kane finished 3rd. Actually, Kane actually had a very good run. I'm taking too much away from Kane.
He finished
Kane
3rd.
Actually looks very good right now.
But he never went for the lead. He never had a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, he almost got 2nd though on the green white
he
checkered.
Did. But
he had
for a chance at winning.
The white flag, didn't he?
Yes,
yeah,
Jeff Gordon passed
did.
him on the last lap.
Yeah. So even then, and Martin was lucky because Martin really wanted that $1 million bonus too. And
Yeah,
Gordon
what was that? What was that all about?
The 2 races sponsored by LifeLock. The top 2 finishers from the one in Michigan, where Mark Martin won and Gordon finished 2nd. If they finished 1, 2 in any order, they would have gotten $1 million, and a couple fans would have got $1 million.
Did they get that $1 million from stealing identities?
No.
Wait, why?
Because LifeLock sponsored both races. They were doing a promotion.
So the top 2 finishers from Michigan had a chance at.
Yeah, and they finished 1-2 at Chicagoland because it was the LifeLock.com 400, and that's why they got the $1 million bonus.
Gordon and Martin finished 1-2 at Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh.
You were even saying after Michigan about how you thought if Gordon had just pushed it a little harder, he could have won or something like that. And I was like, no, he didn't have a shot at anybody.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh, I didn't even know that because they mentioned that like 3 or 4 times during the race. And I had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah. And actually, I thought it was funny because when Martin was leading, I'm like, yeah, Martin's leading, but Gordon's not holding up his in the deal. It's not going to happen. And then Gordon got in the second late in the race. I was like, oh, well, you better not ruin it for Mark, or I'm going to hate you forever.
So who got the $1 million? Mark Martin?
I think they both do. Or it's either split between the 2 of them or they each get it. I don't know exactly how
because
it
they
worked.
both really need money.
Yeah, but still, I mean, $1 million, $1 million. I wish I was the fan because I would have been rooting for. It'd been the only time in my life you could get me to root for Jeff Gordon. Yeah, finish 2nd.
Wow, I didn't know that. But that was really, I don't know. It was a really good race. It was just interesting.
It really?
I thought it was a fantastic race, but you said
the end made up for it.
The end was exciting.
I don't think
otherwise it was a boring race.
I don't think so. I mean, you said
And
Michigan was a god awful boring race.
It would be more boring to watch that race than to be there.
Well, exactly though.
Definitely.
That's what I'm saying though.
That's what I'm saying. So it wasn't. I didn't think, from my perspective, it wasn't a boring race
I understand.
at all.
I'm telling you right now though, for the people at home, that race was boring. I actually spent a good portion of my time talking about my day instead of actually watching the race. Until it got interesting, I was like, sweet. I actually even mentioned that restart where Hamlin booted Johnson. I was like, oh, he keeps bumping him, Dad, on the before they got the restart line and all that. That guy's crazy. All right, we have one quick thing to mention before we move on. First real silly season thing happened on Tuesday, which is the worst kept secret in the garage area, which was that Martin Truex Jr. is going to drive for Michael Waltrip Racing next year. Any quick thoughts?
I think it's going to be good. I think he could be a solid top 15 contender next year.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Kyle, or do you not care?
Going from one bad team to another bad team, I don't care.
Yeah, I think it's a very lateral move. Potential's there because Rudimant's run so well this year, but the same thing. I kind of thought DEI had, or Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, or even furthermore Chippendales had a chance to run well this year, and they just haven't run. They haven't run except for Montoya. I mean, but the one team hasn't run well at all, so it can go either way. I don't know. I'm kind of curious as whether or not Truex is kind of overrated because we're all talking about, oh, Truex, he can be a great driver if he just had a good team. But really, I mean, he doesn't have much to back it up really over his career.
So, well, I guess so. Yeah, it's a very lateral move. We'll kind of see what happens.
The team could improve with this, though. I'm not gonna lie because
maybe
Waltrip hasn't had it for years.
I was gonna say because the team seems decent. They definitely made strides since they first started. Maybe it's
at least they're making their old races now.
maybe it's that Waltrip's just so terrible that Truex takes them to 15th or better.
I'd feel kind of bad, but that might be the case.
Matt should be happy about this.
Yeah,
He gave us kind of
one
a
of the yeah.